Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Tech back in the video today, and today we're going to be talking about players on the Houston Rockets roster that must be traded at the NBA trade deadline. Let's get into it. So I'm going to go over some players that I think are must moves for the Rockets at the trade deadline. I think there's some obvious potential guys that need to be moved on this roster that we will go over. And I want to start off with three guys who I think 100% need to get traded, and I think 100% probably will get traded. The Rockets are down and expected to make moves to improve their roster, and these are some of the guys that the Rockets are most willing to get off their roster. First, it starts off with Victor Oladipo, who was acquired in the Kevin Porter Jr. trade, and has not played a game for the Rockets. Has dealt with injury problems, but main thing is he is not playing with the team at all. I don't think he's even with the team. So he's still a really good player. He's still a really good defender and a good scorer. Injuries are just a big problem for him. And I think, I think a team would definitely be able to use him. I think a team would really love to have him, but when is he going to be available? Because he's had a lot of injury problems. Jock Landale, another guy who I think his career resume and what he's done in the last two seasons, it can outshadow a little bit of how bad he's been with the Rockets this year, how solid and how good of a backup he was last year for Phoenix, and just kind of seeing that Houston wasn't really the best fit for him. He might have a little bit of trade value, especially with a decent salary the Rockets could add on to trade. But the Rockets definitely need to get rid of Jock Landale. I thought he was going to be a really good signing for the Rockets, but he's turned out to be a terrible signing for the Rockets. Also, Reggie Bullock Jr. Bullock has been solid when he's played. He's actually been able to find his shot a little bit, but with him being an expiring contract, some teams might be able to use his veteran leadership. So I definitely, if the Rockets can add him on to trade, I would for sure do that. Get rid of him. There are really not any other players like Jae'Sean Tate and Aaron Holiday. I feel like the Rockets to trade either one of those guys would be actually really solid, just because of the fact that you can get your if I think teams would love Jae'Sean Tate or Aaron Holiday, teams that are fighting for a championship. I think Aaron Holiday, Jae'Sean Tate, what they've shown on this Rockets team with good minutes, they would be great for championship type teams. And I think Jae'Sean Tate and Aaron Holiday will be some guys on this roster that teams who are going to be fighting in the playoffs will be calling about. And I think Jae'Sean Tate should be traded just because of the fact that I think he'd open up a lot of minutes for some of these younger guys, but also because I think he has some good value. Aaron Holiday, I wouldn't force moving him, but would be a solid input for a really good team. I'm not saying we're not a good team. Like getting rid of some players in the past has been, we're getting rid of players because we're terrible. We're not terrible. Some of these players might be better off with better teams. And then the last one I want to talk about is Jalen Green. Jalen Green is not a must, get traded. He doesn't have to get traded. But if you can get the right deal for Jalen Green, you trade Jalen Green. Jalen Green has had terrible shooting struggles this season. But here's the thing. Do not rush a Jalen Green trade. I would maybe wait till the offseason to trade Jalen Green. Or just give him the rest of the season to try to find his shot. Because we know he's a talented player, but he's very inefficient. And I don't think the Rockets can have that. I think they'd be probably better without him, but I want to give him some time. So if I was the Rockets, I don't trade Jalen Green. I give him the rest of the season to try to get his what together. Try to get a consistent shot. And if he can't do that by the end of the season, you just really start to seriously think about trading him. But the only thing is, I just hate to get rid of a guy like Jalen Green. You hate to keep a guy like Jalen Green while his value is high, because you don't want his value to drop anymore, but you don't want to give up on a high prospect like Jalen Green this soon. Only in his third season and his first season with the proper coach and the proper team. So I wouldn't move Jalen. There really have to be a circumstance where it's the perfect deal for the Rockets. I've talked about where if we're trading like Jalen Green and Victor Oladipo, maybe Jock Landale, and getting back Zach LaVine and Andre Drummond, maybe I'd consider it. That's really the only kind of type of deal I'd consider from the Rockets, because you add a center and you add an all-star type player like Zach LaVine, but I still don't even know if I would do that. Those are like the only two trade. That's really like the only trade I would consider from the Rockets. Getting rid of Jalen Green is sending Jock Landale, Victor Oladipo, and Jalen Green for Zach LaVine and Andre Drummond. I would not trade Jalen Green, but his struggles frustrates me a lot. But we're just gonna have to get over it. Let me know your thoughts on potential players that might get traded for the Rockets in the comment section. Who do you think the Rockets should move? Who do you think the Rockets should keep? And peace out.